Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I told you I was going to give it to you. So here I am, finna give it to you. All right. For all intensive purposes, instructional purposes only, at 7 years old, a traumatic experience happened to me. 8 years old, I got put in a gang. 10 years old, I unalived someone. Now, speaking on that matter, there's three type of people when someone gets unalived. There's the one who regrets it, wishes it never happened, doesn't know how to atone or repay the life that was took. That's one. The second person is the person that committed that, don't really feel sorry because they felt like they deserved it, don't really feel like, nah, I can do this to the whole world, but if I had to do it again, I will. Second person. Third person goes straight to their head. Oh shit, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, I'm this. Probably knowing good and goddamn well they nothing with these, but they feel like God in the sense that they control whether someone breathes life or death. All right, so the first person is that person that gets either made, manipulated, or some kind of altered state of mind. The second person might have an altered state of mind, might not, but feels like it's life. That's how they feel. They feel like this is just life. Like no matter what goes on in life, some days you're gonna win, some days you're gonna lose. That's life. And that third person, with every unaliving, they get more and more confident that whatever happened to the last guy won't happen to them. Now, like I said, they're probably no good with these. These don't even exist in their world. It's that, or nothing. Now, the one that feels like he's God, he takes on a complex. It's not a am I right or wrong anymore. It's I enjoy this. This is fun to me. I said I had to say this. It ain't never been fun to me. It's always been of necessity. Like I said when I was trying to make the unaliving video about this, the promo video, I've been shot at least 20 times. Lucky by the grace of Allah, or whoever it is that I pray to when I do pray, if and when I do pray, I've never been touched. Now, I knock on wood, I knock on death, I knock on myself, because hey, that's a fantastic feat. Some people get touched and they're never the same afterwards. The first time that I unalived someone, I was in a inebriated mindset. I had just smoked weed for the first time. I had a couple Old Englishes in my system. Upon getting out the car, I had an out-of-body experience. I saw myself walk up. I didn't hear everything old boy said, but I heard him say, "What you gonna do with that?" It ain't like you gonna use it. And my body used it. And then, as my body turned, I backstepped. I didn't just turn right away and walk away. I backstepped. Saw him lean over. So, yeah. Traumatized me some more. By the time I got to Alabama, as a teenager, as a young teen, I had made it in my mind that if you push me to that limit, I don't care. I had come to that own realization, my grip on life at that age was, if you push me to this limit, I don't care. I I got in fights on a regular basis, so I knew how to throw hands. But when I first got down here, everybody was talking that they cousins, they relatives, they brothers and sisters of somebody. So I got double teamed or triple teamed a couple times. I didn't always come back with that. I didn't start carrying that down here till around the time my best friend got unalived in the car with me. And that in itself did something to me. Again, these are traumatic instances, so this is why or how people in communities could suffer from PTSD and not ever spend a day in the military. Keyword, PTSD, spending time in the military, not necessarily one and the same. When I came to the realization that unaliving people, I'm not gonna say it was okay, because, okay, so my mother, my grandmother, my auntie, and my uncles, they taught me right from wrong, or what is considered right and wrong. As I got older, my trauma taught me a different right or wrong. So I say that to say, like, this conversation might feel wrong to some of y'all, but I'm telling you this conversation because I've been through it. Not saying it's not wrong. It wasn't wrong to me at the time. It wasn't wrong to me at the time. When like I said, around the time my best friend lost his life, I started carrying that again. And I'm not gonna tell you that I became afraid to unalive people. It did kind of fester me as one of those, like, I became a middle person. But in becoming a middle person, I became a shooter. So in the instances where I was a kick door rob dope boys, at any point in time when I kicked that door open, they could have became victims because they were in a way of a means. I never sold dope. I cooked it, I know how to mix it, but I never sold it. So the bundles and the things that I got from the dope boys, and bear in mind you, I didn't run up on all dope boys. It wasn't like a whole heap of them, but the ones that I did run up on, I took their stash. I took maybe a pound and maybe 2 kilos over my whole run as a kick door. I had friends or people I knew that sold everything that everybody wanted. So when I went to them, I got a wholesale. They gave me probably 30-40% of what it might cost, because I never got paid a whole anything for anything because I didn't know the prices back then. I say that to say this: most people that turn into shooters, is what I became, they don't have a lot of money. Shooters aren't the rich ones. The dope boys are the rich ones. The shooters don't shoot all the time. They only shoot when there's a problem. So you only get paid when there's a problem. Again, I'm not saying these things because they are necessarily politically correct. But in one instant, on my journey through life, and I was going through my crash out phase. If y'all don't know what the crash out phase is, that's when you're young, dumb, and don't give a fuck if you go to prison or end up in a graveyard. Crash out. So on my crash out days, I let someone shoot at me once. They shot The whole clip. About 5 or 6 bullets. Maybe 7. Maybe they had one in the head. Maybe 7. It was a little gun. And they stood in front of me about 50 to 100 feet. I give it 50 to 100 feet. And they shot all their shots. None of them touched me. So at the time I was enraged because none of them hit me. It's a blessing now that I look back on it. So when I shot my tool, I hit them. I later heard they died at the hospital, or they were unalived at the hospital. Never got asked any questions, never was insinuated. To this day, it might still be an unsolved mystery, or unless they pinned it on somebody else. I say that to say, like I said, I'm not saying that these are right intentions. I'm just saying these were my intentions. But I never had the feeling of, and yes, once you pull that trigger, you're mentally ill, because self-preservation is always first. But in instances where it's not self-preservation, it's actually what it is, a crime. I can't say I was worried about it. I can't say I gave a lot of worry to it. And the truth of the matter is, I probably should. I probably should thank my lucky stars every day that I'm still alive. And I do, for the most part. Every now and then I don't. Or every now and then I fall into a depressive state. But I say everybody who pulls the trigger has a mental illness, because you either accept, overcompensate, or feel a world of grief. Even in a time of world of grief, you can go into depression. So it's still a mental issue. Once you pull that trigger, it becomes a mental issue, one way or the other. It don't bother you, that's wrong, because you should show empathy and sympathy for other people. You should feel morally wrong if you unalive someone and take their valuable life away. You should. I don't, but you should. And I'm not a sociopath. I'm not a pathological person. I'm not a well, yeah, I have that. But okay. I say this to say, once you pull the trigger, you succumb to some kind of mental illness. Whether it affects you long term or just short term, you succumb to that. I can tell you I'm paranoid. I live a very paranoid lifestyle. I'm always ready for what if. I've been living a long time. I've seen a lot of things. What if is always a possibility. So, I'm not going to tell you I don't keep it. I'm not going to tell you I do keep it. I'm just going to say I'm prepared for what if situations. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Self-preservation, self-defense, totally different thing. It changes you too, but it's a different change. But the M word, red rum reverse, does something even worse to you. It eats at your soul. Some people from like some vets that I talk to, they say the first person is every person. After that, the first person is every person that you unalive after that. Nightmares of people trying to do that to them, or always running, always hiding, always staying low key, always being in the shadows. And like I said, some people, it eats them up from the inside. Like, they really truly don't function right because they can't. And I said with me, I became the middleman, the second man. It wasn't a prideful moment. It wasn't a moment that I repented and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can live with that. It was just like, it happened. It's gonna keep happening until somebody stops picking with me. And I ain't just saying picking with me, but like picking me with bad intentions. My best friend that lost his life in the car with me, he told me all the time that I want to catch as many bodies as you have. And I told him that's not cool, because somewhere in my uncoolness and my unraveling, I had common sense. My common sense was like, nah, bro, you don't want to do that. Like, it's hell to live with. And it was sometimes. Some of those nights were hell. Because one of those nights, for sure, I hit the wrong person. Like, I'm not gonna say he wasn't supposed to be there, but I hit the wrong person. That bothered me. That gave me grief. That gave me depression. When I left California and came here to Alabama, I didn't think I would have to pick that walk of life back up. And when I finally did pick it back up, it was bad. It was bad for the people that were on the other side. I can just say that. The people that were on the other side of the tool, it was bad for them. I didn't have I want to say I didn't have a care in the world, but I didn't have a care in the world either. I didn't feel sorry or remorseful after I did it. And to this day, I probably still don't feel remorseful for some of the things I've done in my life. I've come to terms with things I've done in my life. I've come to realizations with things in my life. I joke. Sometimes I joke, and I say things like, what do I joke and say? I joke and I say, I can't remember none of them right now. But, okay. Once you analyze someone, it's also that people that know that you did it, they treat you differently. They treat you like they gotta walk on eggshells around you, because they don't know what you're thinking or how you feeling, or, you know, are you rational today? Are you irrational today? They don't know. Because they don't know how to gauge what it should be, or what they can say, or how they can play with you or not play with you. I put in my sign. I drive a white truck, and I keep that thing tucked. Real life. I drive a white vehicle, and most times that thing is with me, because I live a paranoid life. I can't afford. I have 2 kids. I can't afford for me not to be there for them. So that wild behavior, I don't practice it anymore. Self-preservation is always a must. But again, I'm not going to tell anybody that they should do it. Like I said, even when soldiers go off and they do it, it's not a good feeling. It's not rewarding. People who have the right kind of psychological brain, they understand when they join the military and they go overseas and they have combat. I seen combat as a kid. That's what I'm telling y'all. Like, I seen this as a kid. 11 years old. The blue side rolled up and let their guns go. You either get low or you bust back. It's that simple. It don't get no more difficult than that. So when you go to the military, if this is not in you, or people hunt, they shoot animals. Every now and then they might make a mistake and shoot friendly, but when you unalive someone that never did anything to you personally, and I guess that's how I look at it, because they did stuff, but they didn't do stuff. So because they were a different color, or they lived in a different neighborhood, we might have had beef, but nowhere in there was in my personal beef. It was a beef that I inherited because I'm with these people right here. And this beef over here, we have one, but not because I did something to him and he did something to me, because of what our people did to each other. Crazy reasons. But that's just like the reason that soldiers go overseas and fight other people's battle. It got nothing to do with the actual soldier. And, at one time I remember people saying, well, soldiers shouldn't do it either. And just like overseas, we have shooters over here in the United States. And sometimes in these hoods, it's not the 40, 50-year-old. It's not the 25-year-old. Sometimes it's the 10 or 15-year-old. Do you not do it because they're 10 and 15, you want them to see the rest of their life? No. You do it because self-preservation. And maybe you're supposed to feel bad afterwards. And I'm just so not that. It just don't make me feel bad. But still, I know it's not right. I'm never ever gonna confirm how many to anybody. Just know your boy this has unalived somebody. And I'm not saying allegedly. I'm not even playing that alleged game. I know what I've done. I know every wrong deed that I've did. If it's wrong. Self-preservation. Is it wrong? That's all I got for you right now. I'm gonna think about some more and I'm gonna get back to y'all.